Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Eclectic Knitter Podcast. I'm Raylene. I got really confused for a second. I'm going to put my contact, Ravelry, and Instagram information across the bottom, probably on this side. There's Cyrus going to the bedroom to pout, because I'm in the office, and he pouts when I'm in the office. So, you can find show notes for this episode, as always, at theeclecticknitter.com. Episodes are posted to YouTube and to iTunes. Last week's episode was not on iTunes. I had some kind of issue with uploading to archive.org that it didn't. I have no idea what happened, but at the end of the day, it basically didn't create the actual MP4 download file, so I couldn't do an enclosure in the website for it to upload to iTunes. So hopefully that won't happen this week. So this week we will have no finished objects of any kind, a lot of whips, and then some stuff that I forgot to talk about last week because I'm sometimes a dumbass. So there we go. The first thing that I will talk about is this, which you've seen before. So I've been keeping my leftovers aside after I knit socks and weighing them and splitting them into two, and then knitting my niece tube socks out of it. And the last time I talked about this, the first sock was done. This is Knitterly Things Vesper sock, her 75-25 thick sock in the Frost colorway, which was the December 2015 club colorway. So I had originally knit, I'm using, I think, US 1s. These are Hayas. They are fixed. They are not interchangeables. Yes, no. Yes, oh, no. I don't know what I'm doing. This is a 1.5, 2.5 millimeter Haya fixed circular 32 inch, because that's what I do magic loop for. I had originally knit this, I used the Genevieve's tube sock pattern by the Knitwear Girls, and they have you use a slightly smaller needle. I think it's a 2.25 millimeter needle and 56 stitches, but this is quite a beefy base. So when I'm doing socks for myself, I do it on, I think I did these socks on 1.5 on these exact needles, and the 56 stitch sock just seemed big enough to fit my foot. The 56 stitch tube sock seemed big enough to fit my foot. So I ripped it out the other night and I cast this on. This is with 48 stitches, and this seems to be better. So I am reknitting these. It does not want to focus. There we go. So that's how far I am. And I have all kinds of leftovers. This project bag, it's a fat squirrel bag. So these are my Frost leftovers that I split into two. These are my Grinchmas, the Christmas Grouch colorway from Yarn Jar that I did socks out of. And then I have leftovers for my Peace and Love colorway to do socks out of. So yeah, I'm doing that and recast that on. I just took the dog out. It's been snowing since last night, and it's still snowing, and it's going to snow for forever and ever and ever. That's how it feels like. Excuse me. I don't remember if I had a finished sock last week, but this is my first finished sock of my Lavender Loon Yarn Company 75-25. That's the speckle here. It's Drink for Me and Live Forever, which is a Interview with the Vampire reference. It's one of her Halloween colorways. I'm doing contrasting heels and toes. This is a Bossy Lady Yarns mini that I got in a set, and I thought the purple looked really nice with this skein. So I have the first sock completely done. I had it on sock blockers for a while, which is why it's laying quite nicely. And then I have the second sock cast on, and I'm done the cuff and like half an inch of stockinette. So, and it came with this little teeth, vampire teeth stitch marker, which is adorable and I love it. So those are vanilla socks. I did a Fish Lips Kiss heel with the contrast color. These minis by Boss Lady Yarns are the same base as the Lavender Loon, which is another reason why I thought it would work out nicely. So yeah, I have, this is my contrasting mini, and this is the, in the skein. I think she had, when I looked at her website last, which was I think yesterday, she had a skein of, she had some of this in stock on sale because it's not Halloween anymore. But whether they're still there right now, it's November 3rd at about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, that I have no idea. I just know that when I looked the other night, because I ordered her, she does a monthly colorway. This year it's based on the moons or something. This month is the beaver moon. I don't know. I bought it. Don't care. You don't know what they look like before you get them, but the ones that I have are gorgeous. So this is also in a fat. They're all in Fat Squirrel fiber bags if you're ever wondering. They're my favorite. They stand up, but they don't feel poofy from having like batting or anything in between them. I think it's just because these are a heavier weight. These feel like canvas or linen. So they stand up and they don't feel poofy or thick from batting or interfacing. So that's why they're my favorite. So I think I was at an end of a sentence, but my desktop ran out of space. So I should maybe see if I can figure out if I can change where the raw video is stored, because that would be helpful. Anyway, we were talking about whips. I had just finished talking about why I love Fat Squirrel project bags, and the 2 pairs of socks that I have on the needles. And we're now going to go to my Leaves of Grass shawl, which has gotten some work, not a whole lot, mostly because I use the Knit Companion app on my iPad for my charts. Oh, my client's here. I'll be right back. Okay. Whew. Been waiting for him to show up for like a week. All right. Leaves of Grass shawl. This is a pattern by Jared Flood. I am doing it out of Wool Miza lace garn in a Wear Different blue colorway. The goal is for this to be my mom's birthday present. Now, last time I had started, I'm on chart D, which is the last chart. It's like from here up. And I had gotten to the point where I needed to do lace every row, and I had messed up and done a rest row, so I had to rip it back. So I ripped it back and I got a little further. I have done a couple rows, but I haven't done as much as I maybe should have. I think I was in the process of explaining this. So I use the Knit Companion app on my iPad for anything that I do with charts. So it's this really great app that you can download the PDFs, so you can link it to your Ravelry account, so you can download any PDFs you have on Ravelry, you've purchased on Ravelry, right into the program. And then you can set up the chart. Sorry, I've got like fuzz on my lip gloss, which is awesome. So you can set up the chart, and it has like a row ticker, so you click. You tap it and it moves up a row. You tap it and it moves up a row. And it keeps track of how many charts you've done. It can keep track of how many repeats you've done. You can keep track of, it has multiple counters that you can set up or that you can use on the side. So you can do like the red counter is for your increases and the blue counter is for the number of rows that you've done, like for sleeve increases and stuff like that. So you can tick it off every time you've done an increase, and then you can tick off how many rows you do, and then you can tick off when you do an increase row to help you keep track of it. Because I often find that, especially if you're doing that within a charted pattern, like if your sleeve has cables on it, or like the pomme de pin is a completely lace cardigan. Now the sleeves don't have any increases or decreases, so that's maybe a bad example. But the point still remains. So that's what I use, and I dropped my iPad off the back of my couch last weekend. And I didn't retrieve it till last night when I wanted to make pumpkin donuts and needed the recipe. So I didn't work on this after Sunday. Anyway. It's got like 600 stitches on the needles. Chart D, you do a partial repeat and then you do one full repeat. And then you do the knitted on lace edging. Oh, I'm doing this all kinds of wrong. That's where the cast on is, right in there. Hi, Cyrus. So yeah, this is going along, and every time I try to show you guys parts of it, I rip stitches off my needles because I've still only got this on 24s with 600 rows. Oh my goodness, this thing went ding, 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 ding. Oh, I will have to reknit. Anyway, I need to learn from my mistakes. I do this every time. Right, buddy? We do this every time. I know. Nope, you have to go lie down. So there's that. It's coming along. I leave next week Friday for my parents for a week. And I have kind of decided that if it's not done by her birthday, then I'm not going to mail it out and I'll give it to her at Christmas. So there's that. Now, it's really annoying, but I had tea here one night at my desk as I was working on stuff, and I left my thing, and now I don't have a place to put all my crap. Can you leave that, please? I know, you have a very hard life. You were just outside and had a field trip to see my client who adores you, and now you're stuck in the apartment, and I'm not paying attention to you. You poor thing. He has a hard life. He never gets to do anything fun. Never gets to do anything fun. So, Cyrus, go lie down. Go lie down. No. So the next thing that I actually put quite a bit of work into is my worsted boxy. This is by Hoagie Locatelli. I am doing this bottom-up seamless. This is in Pashmina worsted, which is a discontinued. Sorry, I dropped the notebook onto a thing. This is a discontinued worsted base by Madeline Tosh. It is a merino cashmere silk blend. This is in the Clap Your Hands colorway. So this is how far I am on the body. This is about 14.5 inches right now. So the little owl progress keeper down here is where I was last time. So that's how much work I've put into it. I've done about 7 inches, 8 inches. I was at 6 inches last time, and I'm now at 14.5. So I've done 8.5 inches. It's nice to just go round and round and round and round and round. I'm knitting this on a US 10. That's a 6.5 millimeter needle. That's what I got gauge at in my swatch. I went down 2 needle sizes for the ribbing and did extra ribbing. You're only supposed to do like 4 rows of ribbing. I did like double that. So that it wouldn't flip up at the bottom, and it doesn't seem to be flipping. Now, this is a speckled yarn, and you can obviously see that there's a swath in here that isn't as speckled as the stuff above and below. And that is because I'm not alternating skeins. Right? I have decided that I don't care. basically, is how this goes. For starters, I decided there probably wouldn't be pooling because of the randomness and the amount of different colors in the speckles. And two, I decided that if there is a difference between skeins, whereas some are not as speckly as others, I don't care. Random is random, right? I think there was only one skein. Like, I've wound all the skeins, and they all seem to be pretty much the same speckle-wise, except for that second skein that I used. So I need to go to, oh, I still have fuzz on my lip gloss. It's the most annoying thing in the world, right? It's either fuzz or hair. Mine or the dog's, nobody knows. Anyway, I'm really enjoying this. It's like neon rainbow speckle-tastic, and then there's these black speckles. You can see them like right in here and here and up here, right there. And the yarn is nice. It is plied, but it's not as tightly plied as maybe it should be or could be, because it's already starting to get fuzzy at the bottom. Like, by the ribbing is starting to get kind of fuzzy, just from manipulating it around. But like I said, I don't care. I just don't care. It's pretty. I actually have another sweater quantity of this for another worsted boxy out of the Magic Lantern colorway. I bought them when I found out they were going, or when they were discontinuing the base, because they were on sale at Eat Sleep Knit for a while, until they ran out of stock, I suppose. So this is how much I have left of my third skein. And they're 210 yard skeins. So that's going really well and relatively quickly, considering. Oh my goodness. I'm all out of Sprite. Okay. The next project that I pulled out, or that I've worked on a little bit, is my granny square afghan. I finished my 4th row and started the 5th up here. And I have not woven in any additional ends. Oh, that was actually the back, so there were ends galore. But all of the ends have been woven in on the centers. So before I attach them, I am now making sure that the ends are woven in. And I have gone through and made sure that all of the ends are woven in on the squares that are already attached, the centers of the squares that are already attached, if that makes sense. So this is 10 wide. I've done 4 rows and I've just started the 5th. So this is a new center that I knit out of Madeline Tosh work sock in the Nassau blue and soot colorway that I did a pair of socks out of a while ago. I have another, this is the leftovers of from the heels and toes for my, it's not rocket science socks that I did put the heels in, but I didn't bring them here to show. They're already in my sock bin. So I'm going to do a square out of that. I also did a square out of Lollipop Yarns. I can't remember what this colorway is. I knit a pair of socks out of it. This is the traditional base. So I did one square out of that. And then I did a square out of that hand spun that I did a pair of socks out of, a 2-ply. It's a super loosely spun 2-ply. Those socks are not going to wear well. Oh well. And then I did another square out of that Hello Yarns 3-ply that I did. So I'm putting some hand spun into this, which makes it non-superwash, because that from Hello Yarns is non-superwash. So that is what I've done. Now, it's not, I forgot to bring this last week. So I already know what my next sweater is going to be, and I did a gauge swatch for it. This is not the color it's going to be in by any means. I have quite a few sweater quantities of Madeline Tosh work sock, which is like a sport weight merino nylon blend. And I really like it. I really like it. It's very plump. It's almost like vintage, but lighter weight with nylon. That's what it reminds me of in the twist, the feel of the yarn. And I love vintage. So I did a swatch, and this is the Soot Nassau Blue colorway that I did socks out of again. I used this for a swatch. This is on US size 6s. It's a 4.0 millimeter needle. I was going for 20 stitches per 4 inches. This has already been washed and blocked, and I got that 20 stitches per 4 inches. And I am going to be knitting the Pavement Sweater by Vera Valimaki. Now, Vera Valimaki patterns are really pretty. They don't go up to my size. The Pavement Sweater, oh, he's pouting. The Pavement Sweater is supposed to be a fingering weight sweater that's supposed to have 5 inches of positive ease, and the biggest size is a 55-inch bust. I have about a 60-inch bust. So I'm doing it out of sport, and I'm doing it at a larger gauge. And when I calculated, I bought the pattern, and so I calculated 20 stitches per 4 inches, so 5 stitches per inch. The gauge in the pattern, which is on the Ravelry page, so I'm not like breaking any rules or anything. The gauge for the pattern is 22 stitches per 4 inches with fingering weight yarn. So I went up a needle, or up a yarn size and up in gauge, and at 20 stitches per 4 inches, using the same numbers as the large size, which is the 55-inch, I will get about a 61-inch bust, give or take. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to use the stitch count for the largest size, do a slightly looser gauge because I'm using slightly thicker yarn. And I think this will still give me a pretty drapey, nice sweater. Now, what gets me, I should grab it. I have the sweater quantity pulled out. One sec. Okay, so I ran to grab. I'm using this. Now this is Madeline Tosh Work Sock. And this is the Pavement colorway. I'm knitting a pavement out of pavement. And I am very amused by that, probably more than I should be. So I have 5 skeins of it. I'm only going to pull out 2. So this is a tonal gray, obviously. Named Pavement, it'll be a gray. And all of Madeline Tosh's stuff is semi-solid. So I have 5 skeins of that. I'm going to do the Pavement Sweater once I'm done my worsted boxy. And it's going to be very pretty. So that is that swatch. And then spinning, I am still working on my loop bump. I'm on I have 4 colors left. I started the 5th last color. So it's spinning really unevenly, and that's because I'm not sure, I'm still having issues drafting it to be consistent. Now, I'm not sure that I'm that upset about it being inconsistent, but if I keep it as a single, the inconsistencies are going to be obvious in the knitted item. And if I Navajo ply it or chain ply it, the consistencies could still be noticeable because you're basically plying it onto itself, which means that the areas that you've drafted thicker have a higher chance to stack up on themselves to make the inconsistencies more apparent. Anyway, that's how that goes. So I'm Still not sure what I'm going to do. But I took my leftovers from my Hello Yarns. I had two bobbins that had leftover singles on it, and I chain plied them. I chain plied them both into one chain 3-ply skein. And I almost love the chain ply more than I love the original 3-ply. So this is my little chain ply of Hello Yarn. I just love, this looks more like how the fiber did originally. With the traditional 3-ply, of course, you muddy up the colors to some extent. And this looks more like how the original fiber looked like. Breathless Air, it's a Rambouillet by Hello Yarn. So I've decided that once I'm done my granny square blanket, I'm going to be doing a granny stripe blanket. And I'm going to be putting this in it. And I have also a chain ply of that, the stuff that I made my socks out of. That's a 3 Waters Farm Superwash Merino Nylon. I have a little skein of that chain plied as well, because I had some leftovers. So I'm going to use these little, and then I have one of these bins back here is full of leftovers as well. And I did a lot of fingering weight projects, so it's a lot of fingering weight scraps. So I'm going to do a granny stripe afghan and try to clear out that bin, or as much of that bin as I can. So yeah, I really, really, really like this. I'm just sitting here staring at it. That's how much I like it. Okay. I have no idea what time I'm at because I've had to like pause and had to create a different thing and stuff and whatever. I have a couple of prints that I will show that I bought recently, or that arrived recently. I backed a project on Kickstarter called Awful Words. And it was this book that had awful words that were then illustrated. And I picked the one where I got a print. And the print that they sent me was for S, sanguivorious, feeding on blood. So it has the word, and then it has the definition, and then it's got like this picture. And they had a second Kickstarter called Awful Dead, and I backed that one as well. And with that one, I picked the one where I get an original picture, like the original drawing that's in the book, from the book. So yeah, I need to get, I want to get a frame and put this up. And then I also ordered, this is a limited edition fancy, it's all kinds of crinkly. This is number 11 out of 35. This is a South Park inspired painting from, so that's Tweak and Craig. And I want to put this up. I don't like that it's so bent out of shape. And then I placed an order through, let's see if I can find quickly, because I don't have anything in front of me for, placed an order for some prints that I had seen on the Woolen Vine podcast. She did a little tour of her studio, her new dye dungeon, and showed some prints that she has on the wall. Allison Fennell. So I ordered a couple prints from her, and then she sent some extra stuff along, which was really cool. So the prints I ordered the same one that Woolen Vine has up, this little sheep, this little ewe. And then I also ordered this raven, and whoop, that one fell because it's fancy. And these ones don't really like to stack up nicely. Then I ordered this little baby alpaca. It's so cute. And then in the package, she sent me an additional fox print. I think it's a print. It doesn't have original written on the back, so I'm assuming it's a print. And then There was this little German short hair pointer drawing print thing. It's just on regular paper, it feels like, which is cool. And then I think my favorite thing that I ordered, or that I didn't order, but that I got, is this original by her. So it's a 5x7. It's a little penguin. And the reason why I know it's an original is because she put on the back, original painting. So this is beautiful, and it's my favorite thing. And I'm going to put it up. I think it's going to go up on this wall right here. I haven't quite decided. So I need to pick up a frame for this. I need to pick up a frame for all of them, and then they're going to go up. I'm not sure where they're going to go up yet. This room doesn't have any art, and my bedroom doesn't have any art. But I have a big canvas behind me, right there, of a wolf that I want to put up in the bedroom. So yeah, that's, let's see, what else can I talk about? I haven't done any more organizing in here, as you can kind of tell probably. Still waiting for the shelf for the living room for fiber. And I bought some felted wool storage bins for the living room, which I got today, and they're holding fiber right now. But we'll see how it goes once I get the thing. It was supposed to be here today, which I was super pumped about because I don't work Fridays. But now it's not supposed to get here till Tuesday, so I'm going to have to go to the place to pick it up and hope that I can get it to fit in my car because it's 87 inches tall. I mean, the back seats in my car do fold down, but I don't know if that'll be enough. So, whatever. Yeah, that is everything. I will talk to you maybe next week. I'm thinking that I may be able, I asked my mom last time I was there if she was interested in recording with me and showing some of her stuff, and she said yes at the time. We just didn't have time over Thanksgiving weekend because of my nephew being born suddenly. So maybe this time. Maybe, but otherwise it'll be in 2 weeks. I get back to Saskatoon on the 18th, and maybe probably that weekend. So hope you're enjoying everything that you're knitting, and have a good couple weeks. Bye.